Well, let's take a look, right? So no one's watching them, if we think about it, right? No one's watching them except for God. They may or may not have things to do and places to be in a very short matter of time, but there's really nobody else around. And so here it is, a silence settled over all. The merchant was alone. He lay there suffering by the road, and no one heard him moan. To weaken days to help himself, all he could do was wait. Would no one come along to help before it was too late? He's really in a down mood. He is so sad to be in this situation. Here's a couple crows now to possibly accompany him, but really he's beaten up. He's so weak. He can't get up. He can't help himself here to move out of this situation. But can God move mountains? Can God move him? Can God help him in his time of need? Can God's presence still be here? Well, let's take a look. There is a man that passes by. Let's see who this man is, what he does, and can you guys see what kind of man he is? Yes, he's a priest. Well, it says here, but down the road there came a man, and he was drawing near. At last the bleeding merchant thought that help was really here. It was a priest in purple robes, hands folded as in prayer. A priest would help the wounded man. A priest would surely care. His shuffling footsteps on the road produced the only sound, while silent was the wounded man, so helpless on the ground. The priest was busy praying. His eyes were both shut tight. But one eye chanced to open and saw, yes, the sorry sight. So there he is. He saw it. He's really sorry about that, and he sees it. So let's see what happens. There he is. He does see him, and then what happens? Oh, what a shame, the priest observed. I cannot stop today, or I'll be late for service. I must be on my way. So I guess the service is more important than helping someone in need here. Something. Well, I'm sure that someone will come soon, so I'll just let him lie. And carefully and quietly, he tiptoed right on by. There he goes, tiptoeing past him. Slowly, so that he doesn't see him feel bad about this whole situation, on top of his guilt, and on top of him going against his conscience. So here we go. It says here, the merchant was alone again. It's official, he's alone again. Was this to be the end? But then another man came down the road and round the bend. He was a Levite who helped the priest. A Levite is a temple assistant, it says here. And of course, a group of the Levites here, as we know that were also, they helped out here, of course, in the temple. All right, here we go. And he sure would understand that here and now he ought to stop and lend a helping hand. So of course he would help out too. He's used to helping out in in places of formal places. He knows that there is a responsibility for people here that he has to help, give service to others, to help those that give service to others. Now, what does he do? Does he help out? Let's take a look. The Levite halted in his tracks. His eyes grew very wide. His heart was warm with pity and felt a pain inside. He stood there undecided. He knew he ought to stay, but what he really wanted was to turn and run away. This truly is a horrid sight, the troubled Levite said. I really do believe he ought to be at home in bed, but I'm no doctor. Mercy me, I might do something wrong. Besides, it says here, I feel quite sick myself. I'd better run along. So he's come to the conclusion that he really shouldn't, and he really can't. It's just not something that he needs to do in this situation. So here he goes, he's tiptoeing along. I'm so sad, everyone. Now it says here, the day was drawing to an end and a night was coming on. The merchant now would surely die, for every hope was gone. But as the shadows of the night displaced the light of day, another man came down the road by which the merchant lay. This man was from Samaria. His people long had been despised and hated by the merchant and all his countrymen. The chance that this Samaritan would help was very slim. He surely wouldn't want to help a man, who hated him. So it says here, he doesn't think that he would help him. Okay, I mean, he's gonna see him, but I don't think so, especially because there's been this history of these kinds of people, or at least this bloodline of people not helping. I'm not going to even get my hopes up. And so as the story continues here, it says, but as he came around the bend, for he stopped with great surprise, for when he saw the merchant there, he hardly could believe his eyes. How can it be this wounded man is out here all alone? I would have come here sooner, friend, if I had only known. And then the kind Samaritan got down upon his knee. He tried the very best he could to help his enemy. He gently bound each bloody wound and tried to ease the pain. Oh, surely it would be too bad if he had helped in vain. Okay, so this was something that needed tender care, and his heart was in the right place. He had supplies to help him. He felt the sympathy, or who knows, empathy of this man. The donkey that he had, it was also looking on, but he tried to help him with his wounds, and it helped him inside out. And so here we go. But when he'd given all the help that he knew how to give, he saw that now without a doubt that wounded man would live, because he decided to help him and respond to remedy that need that he had. And so he did it, and he knows now, he felt it, that he would be able to live without a doubt. This guy can go on. And he gently placed the merchant on his donkey's back, and then the two men and the donkey's small went down the road again. So they're going down the road. He is moving. God did move mountains. He's able to not have to stay for the night. And so even though he didn't know how long this will last, maybe he thought he was going to pass away, hope has been restored because of this helping hand of this man here. He allowed God to move through him to help the one in need. And he surely was in need, and he has surely been taken care of, and he has surely been revived. So as we continue to the next page here, I see now a warm shelter, maybe back at the village or somewhere close by here with shelter. Well, it says they had to travel very slow, so patience was taking place here. It was a lonely night. At last, this kind Samaritan beheld a welcome sight. There was someone who was welcoming them. And so this second person to help this man in need really showed, God's care towards this man through him. And it was something that was necessary. Sometimes we need that. We need that practical care, but from a loving heart. We just need it and nothing else. Of course, through the love of God working in our hearts to do something about it. But sometimes that is what we need at that time. And so we just have to heed to that call, okay? So he saw a warm and cozy inn beside the road ahead. He took the merchant to the inn and put him right to bed. Let him rest, he needs it. And so it says here, he talks to the innkeeper before the Good Samaritan went on